Always recognize that human individuals are ends in themselves, and do not use them as means to your end. Even philosophers will praise war as ennobling mankind, forgetting the Greek who said, "War is bad in that it begets more evil than it kills." By a lie, a man annihilates his dignity as a man. The more cultivated reason applies itself with deliberate purpose to the enjoyment of life and happiness, the more does the man who lives in this way become estranged from true happiness and true life. I can change what I do, but I cannot change what I want. Science is the highest personification of the nation, because that nation will remain the first which carries the furthest the works of thought and intelligence. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. We are not to regard ourselves as if we were a physician of the sick, but rather as if we were patients. To be moral when one can is not morality. Intuition and concepts constitute the elements of all our knowledge, so that neither concepts without an intuition in some way corresponding to them, nor intuitions without concepts can yield knowledge. Morality is not the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. All theory is grey, my friend. But forever green is the tree of life. The only true moral action is one performed out of respect for the moral law. Act only according to that maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. It is impossible to conceive of anything in the world, or even out of it, which can be taken as good without qualification, except a good will. It is not necessary that while I live happily, but it is necessary that so long as I live I should live honorably. Science is the systematic organization of knowledge obtained through observation and experimentation. The concept of duty, I hold, is quite distinct from the concept of obligation. The duty arises from the love of the moral law, whereas obligation is derived from the love of reward or fear of punishment. We are not rich by what we possess but by what we can do without. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Live your life as though your every act were to become a universal law. I had therefore to remove knowledge, in order to make room for belief. Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe, the more often and steadily we reflect upon them: the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. All our talents increase in the using, and the every faculty, both good and bad, strengthened by exercise. We are not to judge of what is morally good and bad by what the laws may be. The laws should be made to coincide with the moral judgment of the community. Man is not a means to an end, but an end in himself. The only way to construct a robust philosophy for life is to have a clear and realistic picture of what makes humans tick. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life. It is beyond a doubt that all our knowledge that begins with experience. Morality is not properly the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Thoughts without content are empty, intuitions without concepts are blind. Out of timber so crooked as that from which man is made nothing entirely straight can be carved. The death of dogma is the birth of morality. Immaturity is the incapacity to use one's intelligence without the guidance of another. The greatest happiness principle holds that the ultimate goal of human action should be the greatest possible happiness of the greatest possible number of people. Man's capacity for justice makes democracy possible, but man's inclination to injustice makes democracy necessary.